It's a brand new day where we talk about brands all day. From buying and selling, marketing too. It's a brand new day with you. It's a brand new day with you. Welcome back to It's a Brand New Day. You're here with Jim and
Chris
and
Betsy,
and a special guest in from France this week,
Quentin.
So we've got a few things prepared for this week's episode. The first thing that we're going to talk about, which occurs in 2 days, is St. Patrick's Day.
Hey,
I don't know why I said it with a Russian accent.
Yeah, that was like
St. Patrick's Day.
Such
Is that
a Russian.
Are you Irish?
I'm not Irish. Is anyone in this room Irish?
I'm a little bit Irish.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm not Irish, but I feel like there's a small amount of people who actually are Irish,
Who
like
celebrate
any
it?
time outside of St. Patrick's Day. But on St. Patrick's Day, it seems like 99% of the world's population is Irish.
I think
Like,
it's
for-
99% of the world's population have an excuse to drink at that point. I
Yeah,
think that's,
pretty much.
They have that. So, did you guys celebrate this weekend?
Well, I was studying for finals, so I didn't
no.
have a lot of time. No.
Okay.
I celebrated my own way by trying not to add to the mass amounts of people on the streets.
That's a way to say it.
I was yeah.
I do have a fun, it's actually not a fun story at all, but an interesting story about St. Patrick's Day. Well, I was sitting in the student center with a couple of my friends, and we saw a group of intoxicated people.
Surprise.
Surprise, surprise. What? Intoxicated people on St. Patrick's Day? No way. No, but we saw just a group of people walk into the stew with this, what we call the student center for our non-DePaul listeners. And so they just walk in. There's a group of about 20 drunk girls go into the bathroom. About 20, and then 15 minutes later we see a girl stumble out, and she's obviously having a very hard time walking. And this is where we thought it couldn't get any worse. But then 2 ambulances and a fire truck showed up, and I think they rolled out multiple people on stretchers with puke bags around their neck, and I'm like, what a festive way to celebrate the holiday.
Way to appreciate the Irish, right?
Yeah, way to appreciate
Quentin,
Irish culture.
Do you have St. Patrick's Day in France? It's probably not a thing, right? Or is
No, we don't really celebrate it because it's not a French party, but we drink here every night, so we can celebrate it.
So you don't need to, right?
No, we don't.
Interesting. Well, we'll see. So this past weekend was the big parade in Chicago and dyeing the river green, and then that's not even the holiday. The holiday is actually 2
I
days
know.
from now. So
I had to Google when is St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah.
I wanted to Google why is everyone wearing green?
Yeah, I thought it was St. Patrick's Day that day, but apparently it wasn't.
Nope. So we get to see it all again in 2 days. So
Yay!
So the second thing, also crazy fiasco, and you'd think everybody was drunk, but it was the Trump rally that was scheduled for Friday night, but did not proceed as planned because there were enough protesters present and enough supporters where there were enough clashes that they thought it was just not safe. Somebody made the decision that it was not safe to continue with the rally. So how do we feel about that?
Okay.
I'm just going to take a stance real quick. I just want to say, I think this is exactly what Trump wanted. I know I don't talk about him because I try not to spread his word, his name around. But I feel like he was looking for the violence so that he could come off as a hero by not showing up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I respectfully disagree because I feel like with the not talking about something and it'll go away, I feel like that works with the Kardashians. But if we just stop talking about Trump, then it's not he's gonna stop being a horrible person and stop gaining all of these followers. And I feel like if we talk about Trump and make what he's doing known, is we can bring awareness to the stuff he's gonna do, so people can take action towards making sure he's not gonna become president.
That's true.
Basically.
Yeah, it's interesting because in this case, and that's a good comparison, whereas unlike the Kardashians who are not running for office, could you imagine that?
That would be so funny.
right.
Imagine the late night TV show
Right.
jokes.
Imagine all the bad
Trump
policy decisions. But if the case is still the point is that if you have a group of people not negating the supporters of somebody like Donald Trump, then in that sense you have a very strong audience of people who are supporting him and pushing that agenda forward, which is interesting. But we'll table this for now because we're going to come back to talking about some political differences between France and the United States and just politics in general in a minute. So for non-DePaul listeners, they don't know, it's finals week. Woo!
Ooh, best week of the year.
How's it going? How are the finals going so far?
I for one, was up until 2 o'clock last night working on a project.
Mm-hmm.
I had to get up for work at 5 o'clock. So,
Yikes.
yes, I am okay right now. You're listening to a very tired Chris right now.
You can see it. You can see it.
Yeah.
What project did you have to finish?
I was in my editing class. I'm a digital cinema major, and I did like a musicless music video of Journey, Separate Ways, which if you've ever seen that music video,
It's a doozy.
It's a doozy, indeed. It is very, very cheesy.
It's not a good thing.
Is it online yet, or can people watch
I
it?
will be posting it next week.
Okay,
On
great.
what YouTube channel will you be posting that,
I will be
Chris?
posting it to my YouTube channel, Crabe.
Wow.
Crave.
CR, like crab with an E.
C-R-A-B-E.
Yeah, and there's another video you have, which is the ultimate tease of a music video.
Oh, yeah. I took YMCA. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
I took YMCA and I edited out all of the chorus bits. So everyone is ready to dance, but nobody gets to.
It's probably one of the smartest things I've seen in a long
It
time.
makes me very, very angry. It makes me a very
hilarious,
angry
which is the
person.
intent. Right?
I would also like to tell our listeners to look up the video Joe and the Pain Train. I'm not going to give any context behind it. I just want you to go on Crave and look up Joe and the Pain Train.
It's one of the most horrifying things you'll ever see.
That's your weekly assignment, listeners,
I'm
is
so
to look
sorry.
that up.
No, it's good. So, Betsy, what about you and your exams? How's it
I have also been staying up until the wee hours of the morning.
Poor soul.
Poor soul. But I've been working on an animation project. I'm in an animation for non-majors class, but it's still like really time consuming. And I spent like 2.5-3 days animating this like minute and 30-second long video, and it's literally just a video of aliens telling bad jokes to each other.
Oh.
But it took me like 3 days to animate.
Did you have to draw the aliens and everything? or-
It was hand drawn, but some of it was animated in Adobe After Effects. But yeah, I like drew out the aliens and the background and all that, and it took me quite some time.
Will we be able to see this video when it's all done?
Yes, it's on YouTube right now, but
great.
we are doing a podcast right now.
We'll
so-
get it after.
Do they screen your animations? Like, do they show it during finals day, or do you just submit it?
I just like submit it.
Oh, so the teacher doesn't even go through the process of looking through showing everyone.
Well, we did have a critique during class today,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So I did see everyone else's things, and some were good, some were not as good, but you know.
Judge, but that's okay. Quentin, I guess in France you all have something comparable to final exam week, right? Is it the same thing, or how does
We
it?
do, and I'm really surprised it's already in March. So where are you gonna go after? Just vacation? Are you gonna walk somewhere?
For a week, and then they come back. So that's spring break.
okay.
Yeah, so DePaul is on a quarter system, not a semester system. So it tends to feel fast for people who are on quarters because it's 10 weeks, and then you have your finals, a break, and then 10 more weeks, and then
Another final?
Mhm.
I see.
for the rest of your life.
for the rest of your life. In exciting news, speaking of superheroes, I love superhero movies, so I'm actually very excited about this film. And rumor has it that even though this film costs a lot to make, the expectations for the performance of this film are pretty big. The film I'm talking about is Batman versus Superman, right?
Oh
Two heroes that are at odds with one another. So how do we feel? What's your favorite superhero movie? If you had to pick one superhero movie, what is your favorite? Well, just one. What is it?
God. I
Easy.
don't know. I really like the Avengers.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know. I just.
You really like the Avengers?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's,
The Dark Knight. It's literally.
oh crap!
see?
Yeah.
See?
Oh god!
See?
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
That's the
I
first
might have to
in
change
the,
my answer.
the new trilogy, right? The Dark
the
Knight.
second one.
Oh, the
one in
second
Chicago.
one. Oh, with the Joker.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
What was the
I
first
might
one?
have to change.
No, who cares?
No, wait.
I don't
first
even
one is Dark
remember
Knight.
the
The
first
second
one.
one is Dark Knight Return.
No, that's
Knight
the
Rises?
third one. Is
Batman
the Dark,
Begins. That's what it is.
Batman-
Batman Begins,
oh,
the
I
Dark
don't
Knight,
even
and the Dark
remember
Knight
that one.
Rises. That's the third
The only
one.
problem with that, the Dark Knight, is that Maggie Gyllenhaal replaces like the previous actress.
Katie Holmes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was the whole Tom Cruise Scientology thing, I think. And Katie Holmes was
Oh.
busy trying to get away.
Oh yeah, that was something.
Yeah. So, but we don't talk bad about Scientology because we don't want a lawsuit on our hands. So, yeah, interesting. I think that was a great series. Christopher Nolan directed those 3 films. And so this is a different universe from, that series. And in fact, the director of this film talked about having Christian Bale in this movie as a different character to make it clear, like it was a totally different conceptualization. What's your favorite superhero movie?
I don't like Spider-Man.
Spider-Man?
Yeah, I do.
Which one? Do you know? Like, which?
I can't even say which one it is. But
well, the funny thing is because both with the Avengers and Spider-Man, there have been so many different reboots in the past decade that it's hard to keep track. Like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man or Andrew, what's his face, the British guy. My favorite superhero movie, I really like the Dark Knight series or Batman Begins and all that, but I loved X-Men 2,
Really?
Yeah, it was such a good movie, and I loved X-Men growing up, so I love those movies. X-Men 3: The Last Stand was one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
I'd like to
Brett Ratner should not be. I don't know whom he's related to in Hollywood, but he should not be allowed to direct anything. But then when Bryan Singer took over the films again with First Class, and the new one, Apocalypse, will be, I'm sure, great. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes down next Friday.
Such a great franchise.
And then
later,
I think Captain America: Civil War is also coming out.
Oh no. I'm not looking forward to that.
Not looking forward to it.
They aren't going true to the comics at all.
Oh,
I feel like there are a lot of things in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that aren't super true to the comics, but I don't know. I feel like I haven't read a lot of the comics that have movies based on them, so I can't really say how accurate.
It feels like the Marvel movies are creating their own universe, which is
there's the Marvel
smart.
Cinematic Universe. And then, the comic universe.
Do you want to know my prediction on this whole thing? Because Disney now owns, I think, part of Marvel or something.
Yeah.
My prediction is that in a few years, what we'll have is a theme park, not maybe a full one, but at least an area of a theme park that's completely dedicated to Marvel. And there's some issues right now because Universal has some rights to the characters in the park. Yeah, but if Disney plays their cards right, I guarantee you'll see something where they use Marvel in the theme park.
Yeah,
and it could be
they already have Star Wars themed things. And I said that in a weird negative tone, but I'm literally wearing a Star Wars shirt right now.
So, and it's interesting, if they build a new park, I think there's all these rumors about Disney someday building a 4th park, or 5th park now, I guess, at the Disney World property. My prediction, mark my words, March 15, 2016, is that it'll be more of an action park where you have big roller coasters and things like this to court that kind of audience. And what better to do that than superheroes?
Yeah,
right?
that seems like a good move for them. I remember there was a rumor a while back that they were Disney bought the rights to Avatar, the movie with the blue people, and they were going to make an Avatar land.
They are.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're still doing that?
Yeah.
What?
Seriously? That's a real thing.
I literally have not thought about Avatar for 5 years.
Yeah. Well, they have 2 more movies coming out, right? Avatar. So the idea is it's the best-selling movie of all time.
Yeah.
And then they'll have part 2 coming out and then part 3 coming out. And in Animal Kingdom, there's a new section that's completely redesigned. You should look it up. It's actually really cool. They have these fiber optic lights that light up as you walk through the park. So the idea strategically is to get people to stay in the park at night, because right now the park is only a half-day park. So they're adding that, and they're adding a light show that involves the tree, so people will spend more time there. Quentin here actually worked at Disney World for a year.
Really?
I do, yeah. They're gonna open in next year, the Avatar Land. And they're gonna build a Star Wars land in Hollywood Studio. And about Marvel departments, I'm not sure about they're gonna do something in Walt Disney World because of Universal, but they're doing something Disney in Paris and in Shanghai. They have a ride already with Iron Man, so it's just a little bit of park. It's not a park, full park, but it's a land.
And would it be great for them to test it out? Because if it works well in these other parks, they can bring it to the United States.
Will, yeah.
Smart thinking. That's business. Speaking of testing things out, another news story this past week was from Kraft, macaroni and cheese. And so the story, just to kind of give you a summary, is months ago, Kraft talked about getting rid of preservatives and artificial coloring in its macaroni and cheese. And when they said something that they were thinking about doing it, of course, the loyal mac and cheese people were like, no, don't touch our mac and cheese. So what Kraft decided to do, being crafty, get it?
Oh boy.
What Kraft decided to do was to launch the new non-preservative, non-artificial coloring mac and cheese anyway, softly, quietly, and not tell anybody until last week, when they announced that, hey everyone, for the past several months, we've had different mac and cheese on the shelves and you haven't noticed it. So interestingly, I went to the Facebook page, and it seems to have worked pretty well. Most people seemed at least positive or okay with it. There were a few naysayers who were like, I knew something changed. And it's like, yeah, of course you did, even though you're just now saying something. So do you think that was a good idea, that Kraft changed the macaroni and cheese flavor and didn't tell anyone on purpose?
I feel like if it was a change for the better, then, like, that's a good thing. But, like, as long as it's not, like, something... I wasn't even alive for this, but, like, as long as it's not something like New Coke or something, then I feel like it's, like, it's alright. Like, it's not, like, a huge deal, even though I'm, like, a big fan of mac and cheese. But, you know...
Do you eat Kraft macaroni and cheese, or...?
On occasions.
Yeah, because Kraft Deluxe in, like, the blue box, that's a good stuff. And that's what it was blue box. So, God, that is some...
Yeah,
that's
the
good
only
meal
Kraft
right
I've been eating was, like, the microwavable kind.
Yeah. You're a college
student life.
Yeah, that's right. So, any other thoughts on Kraft in this sort of quiet transition? We'll see how it goes for them, right? They have a whole new campaign. They have a new Snapchat filter that they've added where it's a game, like the macaroni and cheese like falls into your mouth. So when you're bored later, Betsy's like, what?
I'm like, what?
So let's switch gears and talk about sort of the topic for the day, which is the sort of election chaos. So being in Chicago, it was interesting to watch how it all went down on Friday, and I had the suspicion that either things would get out of hand or that they would eventually just be canceled, given the prospect of them getting out of hand. So it turns out that's true. It was canceled, and of course Donald Trump's reply was, it's damaging to freedom of speech not to be able to speak. And then, of course, there's kind of a debate on that as well. So, given that we have Clinton here, who is not representative of all of France, but is a French person, and French people, as Clinton likes to say, do not like to talk about politics culturally, more generally, not so much about political preference, do you see this sort of passion or chaos, maybe is a better word, for French elections from what we've been seeing here in the United States? Because this is a bit abnormal even for the United States. We're not used to this kind of reaction to people.
To compare it, I'm not sure. So Donald Trump is going to be like in France extreme right. So it's a Republican. So in France it's going to be the right. We have the left and the right. So left. Your Democrat is going to be like in the middle in France. After we have something stronger than Democrats, very socialist. But I'm not sure if people are. For me, it's pretty American again. It's like the show and the show and the show. It's people are going to fight for the party, and I don't think we're gonna see that in France. Maybe it's happened. People are going to be disagree because you need everything to make a world. Any opinions, but after a fight between each other, I don't think it's something we're going to see in France. I don't know. They're going to be in the street and then protest about it, maybe. But I'm not sure they're going to fight.
Do you feel... I feel like in Europe in general, most countries have more than two political parties, right? You have a bunch of different parties.
Yeah, we do. We do, like I said, in general, we have the left and the right. We have kind of like Republican, after we have extreme Republican, that are really about immigration and everything, security. After we have the socialists, so it's people who are going to think about the poor people in the country. And we have the extreme socialists, so it's just take all the money of the rich people and give it to the poor people, and I feel open the door for the immigration. We have the one in the middle. It's like a little bit of this side, a little bit on the other side, and we have ecologists too. So we have a lot of
like
kind
green,
of party. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So for the Americans in the room, what do you think about this idea? So we've got Republicans, Democrats, and that typically is what it comes down to. Even Bernie Sanders is an independent, but he's running as a Democrat because you can run as an independent, but
it's just not very popular.
Yeah, doesn't
exactly,
he
right?
identify as a democratic socialist?
Yeah, social democrat. Yep, that's right. Which he kind of rescinded those comments. He pedaled back a little bit because once you say socialist in this country, people think communism and this sort of thing, as opposed to the sort of social democracies of Sweden or even France to some degree is a bit more socialist, I would say, compared to the United States. The government has more involvement in store hours and mandates like this. So the question is for you guys, do you think that a two-party system is better than a multiple-party system? Like, what are the merits, do you think, that could come from having more parties?
Well, I think with a two-party system, you get a lot of, back and forth. You don't have multiple ideas going at once. I mean, sure,
Yeah.
there's a spectrum for the two parties, like who's like extreme and not extreme, but
Yeah.
still you have the general ideas, and you have either people that agree with you or they disagree with you, or
Yeah.
they're in the middle. You can.
Yeah,
there's a lot of swaying.
Yeah,
Like
it
with,
seems it
two
seems
parties.
kind of like black and white. Like a lot of the issues, I feel like there's like a solid like two sides to like every issue, and I feel like a lot of the times people feel obligated to like pick one of those sides and like don't really think about any like other options. Hold on, am I like making noise on the table?
no.
Okay, good. But yeah, I feel like I guess we could benefit from multiple parties, like more than two.
At the same time, I don't
But
think
also-
America has the attention span
Yeah,
to keep track of all those
I don't think
multiple
we'd be
parties.
able to like remember all of them at once.
Yeah.
But I'm totally down for a Whig president, Whig party.
Whig
Whig
oh my
party.
gosh.
Oh, Whig, like WHIG?
Yeah.
Oh, like back in the
Whig.
old school days. Whig
Yeah.
party.
Didn't back in the day George Washington say something about like not creating political parties, or he's like, "Hey, don't split up and
I
don't
think he
do
did.
this." But
But
then
what did he know?
look at us now.
Well, and if you think about
Lord
it,
be
even
proud.
in within the parties, you have, as you were saying, the more like extreme versions. So on the Republican side, you have the Tea Partiers, who are like the hardline or evangelical voters who tend to be very conservative. So in a way, without saying it, those people will still vote Republican when push comes to shove. But there are factions within the party, which partly is the reason that the Republican Party right now feels so fractured. And they themselves admit that they're having a hard time rallying and finding that voice. Quentin, what do you think in terms of that question? Do you think that there's a benefit to having multiple political parties versus two, or?
Well, I was thinking about it, and you will ask the question, so I prepared something. And
good.
It's very well. It's your country. It's let me say United States, and then create just two party, make it separate people, because you have to choose, and it's not like so in France. Of course, like say we can have that like a Republican and Democrat, but it can be if you want in the middle, if you. That's your opinion, just to share both ideas, and then half, not complete Republican, complete Democrat. Here, I mean, well, if you do not choose, you do not vote, so you just take away. But I feel like Americans have to choose if they are Democrat or Republican. So if you're around the table and you say, well, I'm Republican or I'm Democrat, it's going to be like a distance between you and the other person, and it's not supposed to be. Like this.
Right.
So,
Well, I think that's the scary thing. I mean, political opinions aside about whom or who should not receive this nomination on either side, is that what seems so striking with the Donald Trump rallies is that they're so divisive. Whereas even if you're at a Cruz rally or a Rubio rally or a Clinton rally or Sanders rally or whatever, you don't see, and I don't think in any recent history of a presidential candidate, you just don't see that kind of division, which you would think for the elected leader of any country, division of people is not what you're going for. Like, that's typically not what the office should be.
And I think what's scary about Donald Trump, this is like half related to what we're talking about, but I think what's scary about Donald Trump is that he's revealing all of these like people who like support him and all of their beliefs. Like, he's like the cause of like all of these people like they're like, oh, if Donald Trump can say racist things, and I guess I can say racist things.
It's
now.
like legitimizing or justifying.
Like, a lot of people are like coming out of the woodworks and like saying things like just because Donald Trump has said them.
Right. I think that's the issue, is that, well, the scary thing is not even that what is Donald Trump saying, it's that there are people who agree, right?
Yeah.
Who are
that's
lining
like,
up behind him.
yeah.
That's the scary thing. Like,
Yeah,
where have
that's
we
what's
failed these
scary.
people? So we'll see how it goes with that. But it is interesting to hear about the difference in Europe, for example, but also the issues that you're facing now in Europe with immigration and other issues. Germany had an election this past weekend where more like a far-right party was raising in votes or popularity because of this sort of immigration challenge that Europe is facing. So it'll be interesting to see how our election shakes out. Today, of course, is the primary here in the great state of Illinois.
Woo!
So we'll know by tonight whom the Illinoisan people have decided should be our presidential candidates, as well as I believe Florida, maybe Ohio today. So it's a big deal because if Rubio doesn't win Florida, his home state, chances are he may drop out because if you can't even win your home state, that's probably not great. And then Kasich is, I know, I'm working on those rhymes. Kasich is scheduled to hopefully win Ohio.
Where's
maybe?
Trump from? New York?
Trump lives in New York, yeah.
But New York's not gonna.
Trump is from the gates of hell. No, I'm kidding. So we have a few minutes left. So what we want to do is lighten it up after talking about serious political conversation and play a game called Is It a Kit Kat? That's the name of the game today. So Chris has prepared
Yes. Oh, thank you.
some Kit Kat flavors. And what we have to do is say, yes, it is a Kit Kat flavor, or no, in fact,
Alright.
it is not a Kit Kat flavor.
Okay, here's how I'm planning on doing this. I'll list off 3 flavors for each of you, and you have to tell me which flavor is the fake. All right.
Okay.
All right, Betsy, I'll start
Ready.
with you. All right. You got soy,
Soy,
you got scrambled eggs,
scrambled eggs.
or pineapple.
I want to say scrambled eggs because I feel like I can see how soy can be put into a Kit Kat.
And you are correct.
Yeah.
Wow, good job. So
I
there's-
know my Kit Kats.
Wait,
man.
that means there's soy Kit Kat and there's pineapple Kit Kats?
Oh.
Wow.
If you can put pineapple on pizza, then
You
like
can
why
put it in
not
a
put
Kit Kat.
pineapple?
I mean, chocolate-covered pineapple sounds delicious. I would do that. I think the artificial flavor of pineapple sounds
that's
kind of gross.
Ugh.
My favorite
Although,
word...
What would a scrambled egg Kit Kat?
Ugh. No.
No.
One of my favorite words in French, only because we have a French person here, is the word for pineapple, which is
Ananas.
ananas, which sounds like
Oh my God.
banana.
Yeah, I actually was talking about that because I have a group chat with my roommates where I tried to type bananas, but I wrote like anana instead.
And it becomes pineapple.
And it's like, whoops, wrong fruit.
All right, next question.
All right. So, buttered popcorn, mint, or watermelon.
This is Quentin who's answering.
Yes.
Wait, what are they? Buttered popcorn, mint, and what was the last one?
Watermelon.
Watermelon.
I'm gonna say popcorn.
And you are correct.
Wow, good job.
I think mint
Watermelon
exists in
Kit Kats?
Japan.
Japan, yeah.
Yeah.
Japan.
Yeah, the Japanese really like these bizarre
Yeah.
Kit Kat
Yeah.
flavors, right?
Although us Americans enjoy our bizarre Oreo flavors.
For sure. Which we may say more about next week.
Yeah. Are there any like strange French products that come in a wide variety of flavors, like Japan does with their Kit Kats, or we do with our Oreos?
Jelly bellies?
French?
Chris, you just know
What?
that. You're like, did you just look at the thing of jelly beans on the counter and be like jelly
Are you
bellies?
saying American food or
I'm saying
or
like
French
French.
Oh. Sorry.
What do you mean about French food?
parfum?
Like, are
Est-ce
there
qu'il y a
any-
des parfums bizarres?
In France?
Uh-huh.
Do you really think so?
Like,
No, are there?
Are there like any strange flavored things, like watermelon Kit Kats or like cupcake Oreos or something? Like, do they have as weird flavors in France as?
I know we don't. No.
No.
yeah.
Quentin's like, no, we have good
No,
taste.
no.
in food.
And since I'm in America, so it's gonna be for a year, I never saw all that many like French way for the product,
Uh-huh.
and in the grocery like French pizza, French I don't know, French coffee, French press, French everything French. I'm like, oh my god, I never see that in France. That's okay.
They just say that it's French so people
Yeah,
think it's fancy.
sure.
Yeah,
There's
of
nothing
course.
French in the pizza, nothing French in the meat.
Here's some French
Oh,
pancakes.
Yeah, sure, yeah. I was. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
French donuts.
French toast. Yeah.
Yeah, French toast. All right, let's have it, Chris.
All right. So, sake,
Mm-hmm.
pound bread, or fruit parfait.
Oh, so sake. What was the other two?
Pound cake.
Pound cake and fruit parfait. I can believe sake for sure.
Yeah.
Fruit parfait and what kind of bread?
Pound cake.
Pound cake bread. Fruit parfait sounds weird. I'm gonna go with the. Gosh, just stop. I'm gonna go with the pound cake.
It's the pound cake.
yeah.
We are 3 for 3. Great
Woo!
job, everybody.
We know
Is
our
there
Kit
one more that we
Kats.
could do as a group?
yes.
Let me see if I can come up with something.
One more. So yeah, it's
Okay.
interesting. Oh, he's got
No,
it.
you.
I was gonna say the
Oh,
Kit
no,
Kat
wait.
flavors are
No,
interesting.
I'm gonna look up a different one,
And then Chris has
to do it.
you're gonna do it.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Let's see.
Good luck.
I'm gonna see what kind of variety we have in our Kit Kats in the wonderful world of Japan. Okay, so
Yes.
we have peach, cherry, or banana?
Wow, okay. Cherry, peach.
So let me ask a question
I
here.
can definitely believe cherry and banana. I don't think there's peach.
Plot twist, they're all real.
Oh, that was sneaky.
They're all real flavors.
So you still win.
All three. So,
In the modern American way, everyone's a winner. So
Yay.
very good.
Woo.
Well, that was fun. Well, thanks everybody for a fun podcast. We will see you again next week when Betsy might be producing and bringing in different
Whoa.
flavored Oreos. We'll find out. So we'll see you next week for more. It's a brand new day. Woo!